The spotlight was hot, the diamonds were brighter than the cameras, and baby, the emotions were real. The 2025 Time 100 Gala wasn't just another glamorous night in New York City, it was a full-blown emotional roller coaster. And leading the charge, Miss Blake Lively herself, who didn't just stun in her strapless Zaher Murad gown, she cracked open her soul and honored her mother in a speech that had jaws dropping and eyes tearing up. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because before Blake's moment left everyone breathless, the carpet was lit with icons, legends, and drama brewing behind velvet ropes. Looking like Hollywood royalty, Demi Moore hit the red carpet with her signature icy stare and a gown that screamed, "I'm still that girl." Time named her one of the world's most influential, and Demi served legacy energy. But little did she know she'd soon be overshadowed by the woman in pink about to make headlines. And there she was, Blake Lively, arm in arm with her husband Ryan Reynolds. They smiled, they posed, but something in Blake's expression hinted that tonight wasn't just about pretty photos. Something deeper was bubbling beneath the surface. And then, Blake brought out the woman of the hour. Her mother, Willie Elaine Lively. The crowd gasped. It wasn't just another glam moment, it was a statement. Blake's mom, elegant and radiant, stood beside her daughter and son-in-law like a survivor stepping into her own spotlight. And baby, this wasn't accidental. Solo now, Blake stood tall, fuchsia gown flowing, emeralds glowing, and all eyes fixed on her. People whispered. Insiders knew something was coming. Blake wasn't just here for fashion, she was about to deliver a message. Across the carpet, Scarlett Johansson struck her poses, serving her usual classic glam. But even she couldn't steal attention from the buzz building around Blake. The room felt it. Adrian Brody showed up with Georgina Chapman in tow, giving couple glam. They were honored, sure, but whispers still pointed back to the Lively family. Ed Sheeran stepped out, guitar not in hand, but still charming. His honor was for influence. But tonight, he was just another name on a star-studded list being overshadowed by what was about to unfold. Simone Biles glowed in gold, fresh off winning the Time 100 Impact Award. The woman is unstoppable. But even Simone, with all her medals, looked humbled to share a carpet with the vulnerable story Blake was about to reveal. Snoop Dogg, the legend himself, brought his son Cordell. They served generational cool like only they could. Solo, Snoop posted up in his signature shades. He was the host tonight. But even he would later nod in respect to what Blake Lively shared on that stage. Diego Luna gave Latin charm, smiles, elegance, history, a fan favorite, yes, but still murmurs of, "Did you hear what Blake said?" would soon ripple through the event. Then came Queen Serena, regal, fierce, empowered. No one walks a carpet like Serena Williams. But even her presence couldn't eclipse the emotion bubbling up behind Blake's smile. Hozier, dreamy and quiet, stood tall. His music moves hearts, but tonight it was words. Blake's words that would shake the room. Jalen Hurts showed up looking like a boss. The NFL star brought gridiron grit to the red carpet glam. Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard brought couple energy. She'd soon present Simone Biles her award, but even Kristen later wiped a tear after Blake's speech. Nikki Glaser posed with her trademark sass, no stranger to headlines, but tonight belonged to rawness, not jokes. Nicole Scherzinger floated in like a Broadway queen, glowing from her run in Sunset Boulevard. It is definitely a pinch me moment. My heart is so full of gratitude right now. Sunset Bowler has just changed my life, this entire experience. I'm able to share my gifts finally with the world in a way that I've never been before. The stars were shining, but no one was ready for what was coming. Because when Blake Lively stepped on stage, something shifted. The air thickened, champagne flutes paused mid-air. Cameras turned to the stage. Blake Lively, glowing yet grounded, stepped into the spotlight, not just as an actress or Time 100 honoree, but as a daughter with a story the world hadn't heard. While Hiroyuki Sanada posed on the carpet, another tale of endurance was preparing to unfold. Sanada, a legend in his own right, smiled graciously for the flashing bulbs, just moments before Blake's emotional tribute would bring a hush to the room. Veteran to veteran, Sanada shared quiet words with Daniel Day Kim. Mutual respect flowed between them, the kind that only comes from decades of grind and grit.
This is a lot. As a Japanese-born actor, and after 60 years acting, this kind of things happen. I'd love to say thank you for Shogun team because I put all my experience into Shogun and Shogun brought me here and then be a part of great, amazing people. This is a lot.
But nothing prepared the audience for Blake's lot. Because when she stepped to the podium, clutching her speech with trembling hands and eyes that flickered to her mother in the front row, it got real. She began softly, but each word carried a weight. Blake shared for the first time publicly that before she was even born, her mother, Willie Elaine, had survived an attempted murder by a work acquaintance. Yes, attempted murder. And the only reason she made it out alive? A woman on the radio sharing her survival story. A complete stranger's courage gave Elaine Lively the strength to escape, and in that moment, Blake Lively made it clear. This was why stories mattered, why voices mattered. Never underestimate a woman's ability to endure pain, Blake said. The audience? Shaken, some in tears. Her voice cracked, but her spine stayed straight. She didn't name names, but the message was loud. As Noah Argamani stepped onto the carpet, another survivor stood tall. Rescued from captivity in Gaza, her appearance was both powerful and painful. Everyone could feel the connection between her story and Blake's. Different traumas, same strength.
Yeah, it is. I just can't feel exciting and celebration while there are still hostages in Gaza. Right now, when I'm here, I can't forget that a year ago I couldn't know that I will make it out alive. So right now, to be here in this situation, I never thought that I will do something like that.
Back inside, people were still digesting Blake's words. Because she didn't stop there. She hinted at 2 years of private hell. Subtle, but pointed. Everyone in Hollywood knew. This was about the Justin Baldoni lawsuit, the sexual harassment case, the defamation countersuit, the headlines that tried to eat her alive. And yet, she stood and spoke.
I mean, I just hope that, people follow their dreams, and it doesn't matter how old you are or what's happened to you in your life. You can achieve anything you set your mind to, and maybe I'm just really stubborn, but I never give up on things that I want to achieve.
That energy, it echoed Blake's entire message. Brandon Jackins said,
the truth is it wasn't easy, but I just refused to be deterred, and yeah, it's true, there's not been a black winner of the Best Play for Tony since I was 2.5 years old, but I feel like I love the theater. I've been doing the theater since I was young. I teach it, I feel like it's mine as much as anybody, so I'm not going to be very self-conscious about my role in it. I feel like I've earned what I've earned, so.
Just like Brandon, Blake knew what it meant to earn it. She wasn't just a pretty face in couture. She was standing in front of the world, telling everyone, "My mother survived, and now, so have I." She spoke about influence. Not the Instagram kind, but real impact. The kind that helps someone survive. The kind that says, "You're not alone." And in that room, Blake's vulnerability was influence.
I don't even know what to think about the backlash. I don't even dwell on that. I look at what we did and how we did it. I feel so proud of us. I think it was brave. And this is the thing that's most important to me. I know the difference it made for young women, for women, for girls and women, and even boys of all ages. You should see the people, honestly, just coming in here that stopped me on the street and saying, because of you, because of what you did, I want to do that. They're not saying I'm going to do that, but they're saying I want to think of something that I can do.
That same ripple effect Gail spoke about, Blake caused it that night.
I thought it was great. The backlash made me kind of sad. I think it's nice when lots of people now can go to space, and even people who were terrified of doing so, and it's now become something that is safe, and I think it's going to open up to a lot more people in the world, so I think that's great.
And just like Wendy Friedman talked about opening space travel to more people, Blake was opening emotional space for survivors, not just to survive, but to speak. The room was still, but the ripple Blake Lively created had turned into waves. Her voice, once known for witty rom-com banter, had become a rallying cry for every woman who's ever been silenced, bruised, or told to smile through trauma. And as the Time 100 gala carried on, everyone there knew it had already changed. But the night didn't stop. Billionaire Andrew Forrest arrived with former U.S. Ambassador Caroline Kennedy, a power duo. But even their appearance felt quieter after Blake's storm. It was like everyone else was stepping into the aftershock. Form United States.
Well, the U.S. and Australia are, have the closest alliance, and we work together. The Biden administration, Andrew Forrest, investing here in North America, bringing green jobs here through the IRA and other programs. So it's really the future, and now we're just rolling back to the past.
Even in political talk, you could feel the undertone of change, of people thinking bigger. That's what Blake's speech had done. It shifted the night's energy from status to substance.
It means a lot to me. I moved to Los Angeles from Japan like almost 3 decades ago. Then, here in New York, I played Madison Square Garden before Carnegie Hall. But this kind of recognition means a lot to me. I think because of my fans' constant support. So, I don't know how to thank my fans.
Yoshiki's thankfulness reflected what many felt that night. Deep emotion, a touch of disbelief, and an urge to thank those who helped them survive the climb. Blake had done the same, openly crediting the stranger who unknowingly saved her mother's life.
Honestly, it's mind-blowing, and for me it's been a bit of a battle to get to grips with it, but in a way that I'm super proud of the work that I've been put in, but also so privileged that so early in my career I've been able to get here, and it's such a privilege and a blessing to be able to be here.
Miles Smith said it best, mind-blowing. That was the vibe of the night. Blake's words weren't just headlines, they were healing, raw, brave. John M. Chu showed up cool and collected, but you just know the storyteller in him was moved by what Blake did. It was cinema in real life. Ariana Huffington, queen of mindfulness and media, posed for photos, no doubt already planning an op-ed praising the emotional intelligence Blake demonstrated on stage. Brianna Stewart showed the strength of champions, but even she admitted to press later that Blake's speech was the most unforgettable moment of the night. Even Jim Cramer looked humbled, quieter than usual, because when a woman speaks her truth in front of the world and names pain as power, there's nothing left to shout over. Bravery, survival, truth-telling, she gave Blake a standing ovation. She'd been there. Megyn Kelly smirked for the cameras, but let's be real, she's probably already prepping a podcast episode to either critique or reclaim Blake's moment. That's just what she does. David Muir and Diane Sawyer posed like network royalty, but even they admitted behind the scenes that Blake's monologue would be the news item of the night. Angelin Mirmirwa, fierce in her own activism, offered Blake a quiet nod during the after-party. Woman to woman, fighter to fighter. Outside the Jazz at Lincoln Center, the lights still glowed, but everyone was walking out different. Changed. Stirred. The 19th annual TIME100 Gala, held on April 24, 2025, wasn't just a celebrity red carpet event. It was a stage for courage. Blake Lively, honored for her influence, didn't just thank her team or talk about movie roles. She told the world that her mother survived attempted murder, and that survival became the reason she stands tall today. She revealed that pain can pass through generations, but so can strength. She alluded to her ongoing legal war with Justin Baldoni without name-dropping, and yet, everyone heard him in her silence. She praised the women who share their pain, the strangers who save lives unknowingly, the family who show up, and the millions of survivors who haven't found a mic yet. The night also featured musical performances from Ed Sheeran and Miles Smith. Simone Biles received the TIME100 Impact Award, presented by Kristen Bell. Snoop Dogg hosted with humor and flair. But the headline, the thing everyone left talking about? Blake Lively spoke. And when she did, she didn't just shake the room, she cracked it open and let the light in.